Hey everyone, I'm Jacob and I want to invite you to our channel called Trigger. We're a group of competitive players and friends from Poland, and the thing we love the most is playing the game. Whether it's testing new decks, visiting every RTN in Poland, or flying to callings and Pro Tours, we do it all. With so much time invested in the game, we thought that it would be great to share our love for Flesh and Blood with other people. And it's a lot of fun for us, so that's what you will find on Trigger. Group of friends having fun with the game. Whether it's gameplays, box openings, or tournament vlogs, we always love doing that. So, if you want to see more, visit our channel, watch some videos, and leave a like and subscribe. Cheers from Poland, and have fun with Flesh and Blood! Hey everyone, welcome back to our podcast on Trigger. This episode will be after Lille, Calling, and Pro Tour. So I'm joined by Tiny Guy and Raskox. We'll talk about our experience there, the meta, the banquet, Q&A, Emperor reveal, everything that went down during that weekend. But first of all, a few words about what you just saw, the lengthy intro today. This was an ad that was recorded by us for Tournament Center. And it was played during the Lille coverage. I think during day one. I'm not sure if it was published multiple times or not, but we wanted to thank Tournament Center for that opportunity. It was really great to work with them. Great thing for us to be able to be shown on that event. So hopefully some people saw that and saw our channel, visited, liked some of our videos, watched something, and so on. So great thanks to Tournament Center. And yeah, hopefully, maybe we will be able to use that in the future. But for now, it was only for Lille. Where we were actually the whole weekend for 5 days, I think. So Lille overall, the first thing, the whole event, atmosphere, banquet. What do you guys think? What do you remember? What was fun?
I mean, it was incredible as any big tournament, really. We arrived, most of us, on Thursday morning, so we had a day to just slack around, do some last minute testing and stuff like that. And of course, on Thursday we had the banquet with the Q&A and all of that. Funny thing. I mean, it was nice to meet up with all of the people joining us at the banquet. We got some great food and even better desserts. That's a plus.
Yeah.
The desserts were incredible. I'll say as much. So yeah, we just sat around, just talked Flesh and Blood or just live thingies, and waited for the Q&A. And the Q&A was pretty good as well. How about you, Raskox?
Yeah, this is a great part of those Pro Tour events. This party the day before, which is really casual, nothing special game wise. We just hang out with players all around the world, talk, eat, drink, wait for the Q&A, which was actually great. So, Raskox, it was your first time, all right? So.
Yeah. I would say I am not sure how it looks like in New Jersey, but here it was very fun. Let's be honest. It was a chance to meet some players, to talk with them, also from Poland, and not only, also guys from other countries. And the food was great. This follow up connected with Q&A session was very interesting. But for me, one thing was maybe not so great. I think that it would be nice to have James White earlier on the stage or on the venue, because we are waiting quite long. But it could be also because I didn't know when he should be there. So we were on venue quite early. So maybe it was the
That's one thing,
reason.
and he was earlier, but I saw him just hanging around in the crowd, talking to players, talking to some content creators. So he was definitely there. The hall was big. There was great many people. So you might have missed him. But yeah, I agree that we were there soon enough
Too long.
to wait for the Q&A. Yeah. So, but overall,
Yeah, that's true.
great thing. I think we've had some interesting questions. Just like in New Jersey. Some lore stuff. We of course had a brute specific question for from our friend from Samsket's channel, Jan. I think it was a follow up from New Jersey because I'm pretty sure he asked James in New Jersey about the cards for brute. And now he just wanted to know more. We'll see if if the promise will be kept.
And he also
But
gave
yeah,
James
some
our tokens, our Polish tokens. He
yes,
snuck on the
our Polish
stage.
tokens. Yeah, that was pretty wise. We've made the second set of Polish tokens, just like in New Jersey.
Maybe I'll find them.
After the first event, yeah, you have some. I think I have some left somewhere in here.
I have one set
as well,
kept
but
for me. So I don't know if they will be visible. But yeah, we've got a Ashwing.
Yeah, I think so. This is the Ashwing.
The Krakow Dragon. Then we've got the Frostbite, the favorite from Jersey, and a Ash token as well. So yeah.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know what this is a tradition from International X-Wing, which I've played for years, and Tomek as well.
Yep.
To bring some gifts for other players at the tournament, traditionally associated with your country. So in New Jersey, we've made the first set of Frostbites. It was just before the uprising hit, so we figured that Frostbite might be handy. So these are custom tokens with Polish landscapes on Frostbites in winter, just to give other players. So most of Polish players attending the event have those tokens and give them out either before the game or after the game. We give some to content creators, James White, of course. It's just like a small thing from us to the community, and we've had really great feedback on them after the New Jersey event. So we've decided that we will have them for Lille as well. So this time we've had not only Frostbites but something new, and we have something special planned for Worlds. So I'm not sure if I will be going, but if not, I will make sure that the tokens are there. And we have an idea to make them really special for Worlds. I will not spoil that for now. We'll see if I will be able to pull that off. But if yes, it will be really great. All right. So we've had our take on Lille in general, but there's one small thing that was not a part of the Q&A. Technically, it was announced at the Q&A and it was revealed the day after, or the first day of the Pro Tour, which is the Emperor. Yeah?
You're talking about new Runeblade?
It's not Runeblade.
Sorry.
Royal Warrior Draconic Wizard,
Yep.
or
Royal
something.
Draconic
yeah.
Warrior.
Sure.
Yeah, so we saw the Emperor. What do you think? That's actually really confusing. So I will let you start.
All right, so maybe I will start. This is a joke with Runeblade because everybody thinks this way a little bit. Because what is important that we've got the first hero who is with two classes.
Dual class, yeah.
So it means something that we can expect in the future to have more of that. And it's open a lot of new possibilities and risks, of course, because if we mix two different classes, there is a huge risk to find some broken combos or something like that. But Emperor as himself seems interesting I'm not sure if he will be like even good in Blitz or anything like that right now. It's really hard to say, but for sure, a lot of people will try to use him and
Oh yeah, that's
see
for sure.
how he
I mean, he's interesting,
what
but
he
you
can
know,
achieve. Simply like that.
frostbites are prevalent in the meta right now, and kind of when you're playing a whole
Yeah.
red deck, it will be kind of hard to play those. If you need to put multiples,
He will
Yeah,
probably
it seems
make
so.
use of the draconic chest.
but still, you need to get those
That
cards
seems
into
like
the
his
pitch
thing. Yeah,
at the start, so
yeah,
to be able
that's
to
true.
activate it, play one card, and then pitch another. So yeah, it will be possible for sure, but it will be hard.
I'm expecting to see some equipment, some additional equipment which can help with this issue.
Probably a weapon.
Because I'm really, it's hard to believe.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe that he will be just using red cards and almost nothing else. So we shall see.
So his only blitz that we know, because he's young,
Yeah.
because he has a title, most of us assume he will not have an adult version. We'll see how that goes, of course. We still don't know if that's the rule, of are we just waiting for the crew heroes to get their adult versions. But do we know what rarity is that? Do you guys remember? Because I thought about it today, and I'm not sure. But I think we saw the
not.
whole card, so there should be a code.
But I think it was
I
a
have a picture
promo
somewhere in
thingy.
here. Yeah, I think
Maybe.
so, but because I'm interested if he will be a legendary like Triana in
Maybe.
crew, which would
Maybe.
make sense. Potentially, then they like to have at least one, let's say, different legendary in each of those sets. I have the.
Are you trying to say that
we
Silver
saw the
Palms
promo
wasn't a
version.
good legendary?
It was a great legendary. I was happy to
Yeah,
pull
it was
two of
promo.
them.
It was promo. I've
Yes,
checked it.
yes. It's a promo version.
Yep. So I thought.
So it means that it won't be a legendary, I'm guessing.
Not necessarily, but yeah. I mean, yeah. It would be the first time that they would make a promo legendary, unless it's a very specific promo. It has a weird code because it's not an LGS or anything. It's in MK2030. I don't think we saw that code on any promos before.
No, unless it's on
so-
Taipanis, or Taipanis is HER. I have a Taipanis somewhere.
Taipanis somewhere here.
Only Raskos doesn't have one.
Let's see.
Unfortunate.
you wanna buy one?
Unfortunate.
By any chance?
I don't like it.
I happen to have two.
What can I
so-
say?
Taipanis is JDG, so for judge.
Yeah, so judge. Yeah, that makes
So
sense. I think
MK2?
there are two
Something
versions,
new.
Coldfire and MK2. Oh, that's interesting, actually. I don't know if you guys saw any content creator crack that out, because I think there were many takes during the event. Let us know in the comments. I'm actually really keen to know if anyone cracked that code. It seems weird, and it's 030, so
It's
I would
pretty
assume
far.
we
Yeah.
already
More
have
with the-
some of those,
I'll take a
or
look.
they're at
Maybe.
planned.
Maybe.
Other 29. So,
Alright. Guys, I think that we shall see. I mean, maybe we would know something more if this dynasty.
yeah, if we
announcement.
would not be trolled by LSS for 2
Yeah.
days right now. Yeah, actually, we are recording on September 1st, so we should have Dynasty first info. So, assuming the product sheet, booster, rarity spread and so on. But
A couple of cards,
apparently
maybe.
it was delayed like 2 times already. We just saw it is delayed for September 2nd, like a few hours ago. So we were actually hoping to talk about those in here today, but they are not yet. I will click that like million times. No, it's still inactive. So uh, we will talk about it in the next episode. That's for sure. But all right, so moving on from the casual side of things, we had two very big tournaments going on in Lille that weekend. First of all, Pro Tour Lille, second Pro Tour of Flesh and Blood. Almost 400 players. I think 372 was the starting number on day one. We've played one draft with 3 rounds, then 4 rounds of CC. Completing day one, all 3 and 4 records went to day two. And then we've played another draft and another 4 round of CC, cutting to top 8. So, uh, first of all, Tomek, what did you play? Did you like the event? How it went, and so on?
The event was great. My result not so much. I took Prism, of course, because since I was testing Fi for a month, I took Prism. Of course, that's the natural cause. How it
Yeah, that's the
happens.
usual.
Yeah,
Usual
that's my
stuff.
usual. I just test other stuff, and there's always come back to Prism, which is now over, but we'll talk about that later. So yeah, I started my how should I call it, adventure with my Pro Tour with a 03 start in my draft. I played in a
I have no idea how you did it. You are one of the
Didn't you
best
win the
drafters I know.
RTN in draft by
I
any
top
chance?
eight
Of
two
course.
of them and then won one of them. Yeah, that is true. It was an
Yeah.
unfortunate pod because I got like pigeonholed into Islander. Of course, I like to draft her, but basically I was given cards for her. But for some reason, 3 other players also decided to pick Islander after that. So our decks just weren't functioning. I didn't get any AB, and I played 2 mirrors in that pod, so it was a lost cause. And I also played against one of the 2 Dromice in pod, so that wasn't really fun.
Okay.
So I just started 03 and then lost 2 in CC to just like high rolls. I played against Briar and Viserai and just didn't have any say in those games. I won other 2 games, but it didn't really matter. So I just dropped and played the calling. So yeah, that was my Pro Tour.
Yes, I would safe to say my went a little bit better. Not too great though. I've played the first draft with Icelander as well, but I was one of the 2 or 3 in the pod. I'm not sure anymore. I've managed to pull 2 and 1, which was a decent start for the Pro Tour. And I've played a Briar deck, a Polish version of Briar, specifically a version by Bartosz Ziemba. We will talk about him later on for sure, and about the deck specifically. But yeah, the fact is, I am not the greatest Briar player. I actually do not like that deck. I was testing Dorinthia for the whole RTN season, and I was actually really close to taking her. In retrospect, I think that was the good choice. I should have taken her because this is actually like my best deck. I've played Dorinthia basically my whole Fab career. I've made the first 2000 XP points with her. Of course, that was in Blitz, but still. Um, and I think that there were enough players that either started after Dorinthia was good, or didn't play her for like a year or something. Didn't read the new cards. forgot which reaction does what, how much they cost, what are the damage breakpoints and so on. So I think that if I would take Dorinthia, I would make at least the same result. I finished in 4-4 in CC with Briar. On the second day, I've made another 2-1 in drafts, another with Icelander. It was a weird one because we had some problem in pairings in Gem. In the third round of draft, both 2-0 players got paired down instead of playing against each other.
That's
We've
weird.
asked the judges
think-
about that. Yeah, but we had no drops, no draws in the pod, so we don't know why that happened. They've said that's okay. So we've played the third round, which was actually pretty fortunate for me because I won the last round. So I was 2-1, and I won paired up. So my tiebreakers were better. But then in the CC portion of the day 2, I still lost 2 games to Fies. And finished 8-6, which was unfortunate. It's one game, 1 win from the prize pool.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a decent showing. I'm not really proud of the result, but I'm not really down. I think that was the Pro Tour is of course a really hard tournament. A lot of great players. So if you have a positive result in your wins to loses ratio, it's still okay. One thing you have to remember, and this is for all the players from the Pro Tour or the calling, who beats themselves up about their losses. This doesn't mean anything really. We've had many great names finishing on my result or even lower. The tournaments are designed for most people to fail. That's the fact. Like 1 or 2% of players actually succeed, made it top 8. Of course, at the bigger tournaments, you have the prize pool, which is spread up to top 64. But still, this is a really hard tournament. So if you've had a positive result, that's great. If you didn't, that was just the second Pro Tour. We are expecting to play 20, 30, 40 more of them in the coming years. So don't beat yourself up. It's really not that a big of a deal. So yeah. All right. Raskax, what did you do when we were playing the first day? Because you were still waiting for the calling to start, right?
Yeah, I mean, I used this opportunity to play some side events, so I've got a chance to play in some classic constructed warmed up tournament. So this is like 4 rounds of CC, and I think that I finished it with 3-1. I've lost the last game against Oldhim.
And what did you play?
And I was also playing Briar, but on Friday I was still testing because I wasn't sure which deck I want to take, and it went quite well. I was playing the Briar version similar to Jakub Iżyk, who was in top 4 of Pro Tour. And I've decided to take this version because I was testing it for like 2 weeks before the whole event, and well, it was quite fun. And after that, I take part in Team Sealed History Pack
Team Sealed HP1
event. I know that HP1 Black Label, so the chance for beautiful marvels. So well, it was fun. This is what I would like to say. The result is not so fun because we lost almost all matches as a team, of course. In this case, I think that we've got like 2 draws and 2 loss.
Okay.
In this case. But anyway, it was quite funny. I was playing Ira, I think, there, and I was playing against, for example, two Kanos, and I've got like two AB only. And honestly, playing against guys with fables and
Yeah.
legends, and we in our box where we didn't have anything, like even it was a problem with good majestics. But I like this kind of random format, so for sure I've got a lot of fun.
Yeah, I
And
think this is a
so
great event actually.
Yep.
yeah, exactly. I would recommend it to everyone. I think that some of you guys maybe play it on
Yeah, we've played it
Sunday.
on Sunday
Spoiler
after
alert.
the Pro Tour and the calling. Yeah. Yeah, it is really good. I was actually pretty surprised how much fun I've had during that event. I was a big fan of Shapeshifter Sealed in Krakow, and this was,
Mm.
I would say, similar level of fun. We've taken a French box to have a souvenir from Lille. So we had some really weird situation in round two when we've played some American players. They've had the French cards too. So we've had our brute player deciphering the cards with Google Translate during the game because neither teams knew what is written on them. We had no idea if it's a discard draw or just discard or search for six strength or something. So yeah, it was really fun, especially that even though this is sealed with the whole box, these decks are really not that bad actually. Uh,
Yeah.
and which you said they are the situations with fables and legendaries. So we've had a game where Kano started the game, pitched a heart for Kano, healed by one, revealed Crazy Brew, played Crazy Brew, activated it, healed for two, and passed the turn, which was pretty surprising, I would
Nice.
say.
18 HP
Also,
Kano.
I've played a Dorinthia, and I know what Dorinthia does, but I know what her strengths are in CC or in general constructed. So I was pretty surprised when I blocked the Dawnblade and got Singing Steelblade into Glint, which was pretty decent cards in sealed format. So yeah, great format, great event. I really recommend that,
Yeah.
especially with the black label. Either it's German, French, Spanish, or Italian. If I'm correct,
Yep.
there are four.
Yeah, I think that's what we should add, because these boxes have like 36 packs, so it's
Yeah,
like a
so the
little bit
pool is
bigger
really
pool of
big.
cards.
It's
Yep.
really
Yeah,
decent to build three decks out of them. So
yeah, exactly. So, well, I mean, I played against Kano, who played Eye of Ophidia, for example, and two
nice.
specializations. So it was like, what's going
Nice.
on, even? But yeah, I like the format. Hopefully, I will play it more
Yeah,
in the future.
for sure.
Works, and
All
yeah.
right, so we've covered our portion of the Pro Tour, but of course the Pro Tour does not end there. Even though our result with Tomek was not that great, we have to talk about the meta and the results themselves. So we've had a top 8 with 4 Briars, a Viserai, Dash, and
Two
2
prisms.
Prisms.
Prism,
Yep.
two
I
Yes.
prism.
think so.
So
Mm-hmm.
the first thing is all Briars won their top 8 matches. So we've had all Briar top 4. Um, and which is more important, we've had 2 Polish players in the top 4 of Pro Tour. Actually, 2 players for our testing team, Bartosz Ziemba and Jakub Iżyk. So big congratulations to them. We were really proud to not only test with them, but also be able to support them during the event. Both are amazing players. Both played actually pretty different decks, even though it was the same hero. So first of all, what do you guys think about Dash? Because Dash taken us by surprise in Singapore a week before, and I think it's safe to say that there was some scare in the last week before Pro Tour and some last minute testing of the Dash deck. So what do you guys think? Was it the great deck, or was it just one trick pony in Singapore?
It's just as you said, it was a
Maybe
surprise, right? So we didn't like consider Dash at all. I mean, we considered her at the beginning, but there were other like better aggro decks, and she just lost to Guardians, so we just crossed her out. Then Singapore happened. She won the whole thing, of course. Uh, but after that, we just tested against it, and it turned out that it's pretty easy to mill her out. That was the basic game plan.
Yeah.
So the Singapore win was, I mean, it accredited a lot to it being a surprise, as you mentioned. So nobody knew what to do against a Talishar Dash and just tried to race her, which is pretty ill-advised if you want to win that match. You just need to wait out the Pounder, the Talishar, and then you're good to go. So yeah, but there was some panic for sure. We tested racing against her with Briar, with Fi. We had Mariusz Suchanecki here on Dash, allowing us to test that. I also went against him with.
He was actually the only one from Team Poland that was on Dash before Singapore.
Yep.
And he stick to that until the end. So.
Yep. And then also I tried to race him with.
Yeah, it was his mistake.
True. I tried to race him with Prism or play Auras into that, and then I just remembered that if I could have milled Chain, I probably could have milled this Dash pistol or the boost dash, and both of them worked. So yeah.
To be honest, I was like testing Dash after Everfest, and exactly with this kind of approach with Pounders and so on, and it was great deck with exactly this issue that, as always, boosting Dash can be milled by itself. So the question is always if your damage output is big enough to just kill everything before the end of the deck. And as you said, guys, after quick testing, it seems like if your deck is able to defend in proper way, you should be able to do it. So Singapore was just an event, one time situation like with Kane on first Pro Tour. No one expected it. People forget how to play against Dash probably also. And for now, she probably needs to wait for more cards. That's all.
Yeah. I think it was a great meta call. Of course, big congratulations to the player that won the event. It was a really good decision. I saw some games on stream. It was very clear that he knows what he's doing, that it was a planned thing, not just like a last minute call and try to race everything blindly. So yeah, I think once in a while those things will happen. We will see some unusual, unexpected decks to win some big events, which is very exciting actually. But we've only had one dash in the top 8, piloted by Christian Hulk, the German national championship, if I remember correctly. Really great player, a Magic Pro player. I've heard that he was actually counting on that Bartosz will not know what to do in the top 8 because he knew that this is basically the win condition. And when Bartek started to block from turn 1, he knew that it was over. We've also had the defending champion Pablo Pintor on Viserai. very, very interesting list with basically no variants, no sonatas, anything like that. Just pure value, I would say. A deck that is great in playing 3-card hands, so he can reliably block some damage and swing back. First of all, I think that that was a real show of force. Being able to win a Pro Tour and then be in the top 8 of the second one. I think he's the only player who was in the top 8 in New Jersey and Lille. So amazing thing actually. A really great player and really great deck actually, which was a surprise for us at least because Team Poland tested Rune Blades very thoroughly, and we decided that Briar is just better. And apparently, Spanish team decided that Viscera is better, and yeah, Pablo proved that it can be done.
I think that the part of Spanish team was also on Briar, so it was not as clear decision on their side. But as you said, Pablo proves that he is a great player and he achieved a lot. Anyway,
Yep.
Yeah, I think if he qualifies for top 8 at Worlds, I think we can start the GOAT discussion. I'm not sure if he will be Michael Jordan level of fab player, but I think that this is the start of a legacy, that's for sure. And we are start seeing that there are teams and countries very dedicated to the game, and with very powerful and skillful players and taking the top spots consistently. Which brings us to the to our teammates. Both Bartosz and Jakub took 2 different versions of Briar. One was with Belittles, piloted by Śliski, by Jakub Iżyk, and the second one was more traditional, let's say, piloted by Bartosz, but with some tweaks, some weird cards like Red Air Force Surge, the best card in the deck, and they've both made top 4. With Bartosz winning the top 4 match because they've played against each other, and playing in the finals against Matthew Folks, who won the event. So first of all, what do you think about Briar in general? Is it the tier 0 S tier deck that could not be beaten, and we have a really bad situation before nationals, or is it just a really good deck piloted by the best players?
well, I think that we discussed it a little bit in the last episode, and I'm still claiming that she's not S tier, but she's A plus or something like that. I mean, Briar is a Rune Blade, and this class is just very good, and she is at this moment on the top. But I think that important part was also the skills of the players in this situation. And I think that the thing which helped a lot was Prism still being with us during this Pro Tour. And I think that the situation with Living Legend will shake a little bit the whole meta.
Okay.
But who knows?
Yeah, Briar was just consistent. Like, she's not Starvo tier OP, but she's really good. She has consistent turns, like presenting 12 damage, no problem per turn, and then the Channel Mount heroic turns can just spiral out of control. Once like 6 games, you just get a game free because the dex tells you, there you go, there's a mount and 2 Force of Natures, go off, and you just kill your opponent with that. So those things happen. which is really good in a deck to be able to do that, as Starvo was doing as well. If you fuse 3 times in a row with 3 Oakenolds and stuff like that, and maybe a Pulverize on top of that, you just won the game because the deck said you won the game. So it was also a good part of this deck that it just happened to just get an auto win every few games. And it was good into the meta as well because you can beat all games if you know how to play that matchup. You have a good matchup against Prism. You have a good matchup against other aggros because you're just the better version of them. As our team tested, you should be fine against Viserai, at least favored in that matchup. You're favored against Bravo as well, if you know what you're doing with your deck. So a lot of good matchups. The only like really bad being I think Ice Lexi, which was represented by 7 players in the Pro Tour. So yeah, it didn't really matter that that deck existed because it wasn't as good as the other aggro decks, so it wasn't represented as much by other players. So yeah, if I would have liked Runeblade, I would have played Briar for sure, but I despise that class, especially Briar. So yeah, not for me, unfortunately.
Why? I'm asking
I don't
why.
know,
I don't like
I
it too.
was
just the
always
gameplay of
playing
Briar just
I,
Runblade.
I
Okay.
actually like playing Runeblade, but not Briar.
Yeah, but I would add one thing because we were talking about these two kinds of decks, but the Pro Tour winner, Matthew Fox, he got very interesting version. To be honest, I
Yep.
was really surprised when I seen this deck list because I was like trying to figure out if Belittle Briar is good or better than the standard version, and what he did, it was unexpected. I would say he had a lot of variance to this already full of variance deck, and he was able to win the Pro Tour. So, well, I was really surprised and impressed, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that that version is really interesting, and it can, of course, high roll games, which all deck can, but this one can especially carry you with the draws out of Sonatas or Tome of the Archetypes, Tome of Fiendals, and so on. But it was a really interesting concept, really well executed, as we saw in the games on stream, which is quite funny. We've had a deck like this win our local armory a few wins back. But Pavel, our local player, decided that it's not for him. He had yellow snatches, he had all the tomes you can get. So the idea was there, but I think that the dedication of the group testing, in this case the UK players, uh, can convince you that deck is actually better than you see in the first few games. When you have a group that can consistently play game after game for a few weeks, you can see things that most people miss. And I think that's mostly it. That they just tested a really good version of the deck, played it well, and win the tournament. That's it.
Yeah, yeah, and hopefully Matthew will be able to show us this kind of great games in the future, and we'll be able to put in the past some strange situations from UK nationals.
Yeah.
Because as far as I know, it was a good tournament of his, and congratulations.
Yeah, really good showing. Really great achievement. We'll see how the UK team will do at Worlds, and in that spirit, there's one more thing to talk about the Pro Tour. We've had top 8 with 7 European players, 1 player from US, Fino Black, great player, great Prism pilot, very very interesting and very funny person, really great guy. But what we can see right now is Europe taking the event by force, second time in a row. So there is a very very simple question for you. Uh, is Europe the best region in Flesh and Blood right now?
Yes. I'm done. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay. Raskix, do you have any doubts
Yeah.
even still?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I think that for sure we've got on this Pro Tour we've got the numbers.
Yes.
Simply like that, because it was in Europe. But yeah, at this moment, I think that this region is the strongest. But let's prove it
At
on
Worlds.
the Worlds.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that of course the numbers are on our side, and the conversion rate is of course favorable to Europeans. That's natural on the event like that. But yeah, I actually agree. I think that Europe right now is just the strongest region, and I'm convinced that Poland is actually one of the top countries in Fab right now, which was proven not only by having 2 players in the top 4 of the Pro Tour, but also in the top 4 of the calling, which we will talk about in a second. So overall, I think this was a great event. I would say that it was on par with New Jersey. I don't think that any of those events was better in any way. Both of them had some unique features. Both of them were in a very different part of the world. I'm really glad that we've had a similar number of players, that we've had many international players travel to Europe. I saw on Twitter that many of them took a long vacation for that,
Yep.
visited some other countries, or just visited France more. So I am really happy that Flesh and Blood gives them that opportunity. And with that, we will be closing the discussion about Pro Tour Lille and moving to calling. So we've had a calling Lille with almost 600 players, 570 something, I believe. So Raskix, this time it's a question for you. You've played the calling, that was your main event and main plan. You've taken Briar. So how did you do? That's the first question.
Well, I would say it was my first calling.
Okay.
I was quite happy because I was able to participate in this. I'm not happy with my result because, to be honest, I started the tournament very badly with 1-2, and then I was able to finish the day one with 6-2. So I've cut. I was in the cut for day 2. So, but the only thing which was important that I cannot lose anything else. And second day I start with the draw with Priest. To be honest, it was this game was already won, but Arc Sentinel in additional time just finish my chances for the one, for the win, for the top 8.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, I played 3 more games, and I think I won 2 of them and lost additional one. And at this point of time, I decided to just drop because I've got quite low with my standings, and I didn't have a chance even, I think, for top 32. And I was trying to play in commoner for the book.
Okay.
So it was the situation. I've got some lessons from this calling. I think that next time I will be a little bit more prepared because a lot of games I lost on the position, not during the game, but at the beginning, like deciding who will be the first player, for example, or by letting my opponent to change his move because I was treating it too casual. So this kind of things, next time probably I will be more strict, simply like that, because I feel that it could give me like 1 or 2 more wins, and it makes a difference.
Yeah, I think that's really important to say that those events are a pro events. We are playing for money, and there is nothing bad in playing within the rules. I think that there is a group of people in every game that try to portray the pro players as the bad guys because they are trying to play within the rules, which is bullshit. Honestly, I think that as long as you play fair, as your kind opponent, and you are not doing some shady stuff on the table, because this is of course not a good thing. It's okay for you to not let your opponent take back any moves, to actually play within the rules, make proper trigger effects, and so on. This game is actually really complicated. There are a lot of interactions that you can miss, and a part of the skill of a player is to follow your rules, to remember about your triggers and things like that. And I think that this is really important to remember. That it is okay to play clean game. That's nothing bad. You are not a bad person for wanting to play within the rules. So yeah, but this is an important lesson. I think most players stumble upon that on their journey in playing different games. There is always that moment when you are trying not to be the bad guy, and you're letting your opponent to take back something, and then you're regretting that because you could have won the game, and you should have won the game, but you don't. So yeah, I think that this is an important thing to remember.
Yeah, but still 6-2 day one is not a
Yeah.
it's not a bad result. Something
Yeah.
to be proud of for sure.
For the first calling,
Yeah, sure.
I think it's really good. So
Yeah, but I was like, I've got like better hopes for myself. But yeah, but it was.
as we all.
I was satisfied at least.
It was my
I
third
was
one, and I
satisfied.
went
It
5-3.
wasn't
So you
bad
know.
result.
Yeah, about that, Tomek, what did you play in the calling?
Let me guess. Maybe Prism. Yeah, I played
Ooh.
Prism as well. I lost 3 games, so I didn't make day 2. I lost to 2 Viserais and 1 Briar. So
Okay.
the Briar matchup I just got. My opponent played 3 mounts in 2 turns, so that was an unwinnable game, and I didn't have any Arctic Sentinel, so you know that's what Briar does.
Seems like a lot of damage.
Exactly. She just sometimes just gets the thing. Then another Viscera just high rolled me because of 2 turns with Mother Tides and stuff like that, blocking with my whole hand and leaking 20 damage per turn, which was not optimal to say the least. And the third one was just a good game, and my opponent came on top. I didn't win against him. Where the funny things were I faced 2 Guardians. I faced 1 Bravo and 1 Oldim, so those were wins for me. But I high rolled both of them because with the match against the Bravo player, I had 3 Genesis on turn 3 on the board, and
Oh my
then
God.
I slapped on a haze bending.
That hurts.
So yeah, so they just generated an infinite value for me. And then against the all team player, I ended up on 40 HP. So yeah, those were the games I high rolled.
Yeah, this matchup can be like that.
Exactly, but I didn't need to high roll them. That's the unfortunate thing, that my basic turns would be pretty sufficient to win those games. I would have liked to high roll other ones, but you know what can you do? She's gone now. I won't be playing her. Maybe that's a saving grace for me. Although I'm building my Marvel
Of course you will.
collection
In
for
the Living Legend
Wait
format.
for
yeah,
Live.
true.
Yeah.
I mean, she's in the binder right now, waiting.
Against Starvo.
And Chain,
Yeah.
with seats. That's a fun game.
My chain is waiting for your prism.
True.
Let's be honest.
Okay, so the calling after 2 days and 13 rounds, I believe, was cut
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
top 8 as well, and we've had 2 Briars, 3 Prisms, Dash, Viserai, And Dorinthia.
And
And Dorinthia.
Dorinthia.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yep. My soul hurts. It was probably karma that I did not take her, but I actually am really really proud. So congratulations to Ignacio Reggio for taking her to top 8. A great achievement, I think. And yeah, really good showing. Um, and we've had 2 more Polish players in that top 8. Łukasz Szczepanowski and Wojtek Klimczyk, both from the same testing team, both from Wrocław. So whenever we are preparing for the Polish tournaments, they are testing with themselves. Of course, before the Pro Tour, we test as Team Poland. We exchange ideas. The Briar channel on our Discord was a great thing to watch. Actually, a lot of great discussions, many good ideas, and they've played a version very similar to Bartosz. I think that the main change is the great discussion about Sift versus This Rounds on Me. But
there is no discussion. It's clear.
I think that
Sift
both
is
sides
pretty tough.
are claiming that. But yeah, overall, it was a very similar deck. And they've both managed to get into the top 4. And they've both faced Prism. So we've had 2 Briars, 2 Prism in top 4. Very interesting result. And a lot of players were watching those matches because, of course, Prism being 2 points from Living Legend was a very controversial thing. Many people were rooting for her to get out. Many were rooting for her to stay. So this was definitely the top four to watch. Unfortunately, Łukasz lost, but Wojtek managed to win the game. So we've had a Prism versus Briar final. Won by Prism, piloted by Joris Velhest. Sorry about the mispronunciation. I'm sure I'm not reading that right. So first of all, what do you think? Did Prism win the tournament, or did the Guardian lobby made a donation for Wojtek to actually let her go? Finally, rest in peace. Of course, we all know it's a joke. It was a fair and very exciting game, but there were some questions with him pulling off the golden rampart for that for that game. So
Something to keep in mind.
To be honest.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I just want to say that obviously someone paid for this win, but yeah, we know that this is just a joke. But looking at the game, it was like painful because we know that Wojtek is a great player and he should be able to win this game. I think that the main reason that he lost was just being tired after 3 long days of playing. I think that he was in the good position to win this game. He made some strange decisions maybe at the end, and Prince player was able to use it to win. But anyway, great tournament of here.
That's exactly what I wanted
surprising
to say.
that may be. Playing 20 games of Fab and on that level in 3 days might be pretty tiresome. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Tomek, as a Prism player, you saw the match, of course. We've been waiting and cheering for both Łukasz and Wojtek, watching the matches. Do you think that it was a good match for her, or do you think that it could have been lost as easy as was won by the merciful retribution?
Yeah, it's a pretty polarizing matchup sometimes, because sometimes the Briar player just shows the nuts and you don't have any answers for that and you just die. Sometimes you, as in this game, you have your ups as Prism because you have like 3 auras on the board and then you're swinging with something, but then you like break one hand and then your auras got destroyed, you get a mount turn, you get some damage through. So those are pretty swingy in nature because of the action point economy from both sides, and Arclight Sentinels being a thing, and Channel Mount Heroics being a thing, and then responding to either non-attacks or the embodiment triggers. So there's a lot of like minor decisions that
Okay.
that like turn the game around in one person's favor or the other ones. But it was a great match. The matchup is pretty 50-50, I would say. If both of the decks draw like average hands, it's pretty 50-50 in my opinion, at least.
Okay. So, Prism is gone. Living Legend, of course, with the 100 points from the calling. She's way over the needed threshold of 1,000 points. We will talk about the coming meta in our next video. We have a whole crew dedicated for that. But one thing I wanted to ask you, uh, as of right now, after winning the Pro Tour, Briar is on, I think, 840 something points. Uh, do you think, first of all, will we be saying goodbye to Briar after Nationals? And a follow up question to that, do you think that the heroes being legal for around 400 days, except for Bravo, of course, but we know that that was a mistake, is a long enough time, or would you prefer to play with them a little bit longer?
I can start, I guess. I mean, she'll for sure be living legend after nationals. Like, there's no question about
Okay.
it, especially with Prism gone right now. She will just be in more force, I think. The meta somewhat opens up because of her, because more Guardian players can like reign supreme, and then Lexi has slightly better matchups, and then Wizards as well go in due to not having autolosses against Prism. So there will be a more diverse meta than on the Pro Tour, but I think Briar is still the deck to beat, and
Okay.
even more so now. The sideboard slots from Prism just freed up, so there's more sideboard options for, or even main board options for decks to go into. And the Living Legend like lifespan of heroes, I'm fine with that. I just wish the heroes replacing them would come out sooner.
Okay.
So if they would have them prepared in advance and maybe not even release them with a set, but like a separate product with just the
Hmm.
hero, new weapon, and I don't know, specialization cards, just for the people to have something to play with. So their cards are not
Okay.
like dead basically for an X amount of time. That would be nice. So I'm okay with the heroes rotating out after a year or so, but I would like to have the replacements sooner.
Maybe they could make them a promo in the armory.
Yeah,
Like they can release them in the next or whatever set, but they can just. We've received the errated
yeah,
briars
exactly. That would be
some
perfect
time
then.
ago, and I think that would be a decent enough way to release them into the game for people not to wait
Yep.
too long to play their favorite cards. Maybe they would make an alternate art in the set to still want to get them
Yep.
from the product. Okay.
That would be nice.
Raskix, any thoughts about the Briar?
Well, I think that when we talk about Living Legend, I think that at the beginning, original plan was that after some hero going to Living Legends status, we should have his replacement in the nearest next set. But it changed,
That was
obviously.
actually never the plan. I mean, it was never officially said. This
Okay.
is something that community perception like created. I think the narration was always that we will get them, of course, after the Living Legend status, and it will take some time, not too long. So most people assume that it will be the next set, but of course, with Dynasties being released in like 2.5 months or so, if the Prism replacement is not there, it's impossible to get it in the set right now, and it would be put in print like I think 3 months ago. So they would have to anticipate that.
Just logistic in this case. And when we talk about Briar, I totally agree with Tomek. I think that she will be off after national seasons. And I think nothing to add here.
Okay.
This is exactly as Tomek said. I think that 1 year for the hero is enough. Starvo was obvious mistake. It shouldn't happen, but it does, and it did. But the rest of the heroes are long enough that we should be okay with them going to Living Legend status.
Okay. All right. So I think we have that covered. Once again, very very big congrats to all 4 Polish players that were able to make the top 4 in both tournaments and the final in both tournaments. This is a great result. I think it's a big success of Team Poland. And of course, thanks to all people that were invested in the process of testing. We've had many players with really good results. Of course, we are mainly talking about the top 8s, but we've also had some people make
Top
good enough
17
result
and
in
top
the Pro Tour
33.
to. Yeah, we've had top 7, it was 17th and 33rd player, and 64th.
Yep.
Because Mattison was actually lucky
Lucky enough.
in opposed to Pepe and Urlich. They've both missed the bigger prize by 1 spot, and he was actually the last to get cash out of Pro Tour. But we've also had some really great results in the calling, with Michał Szub being 7-1 after the first day, I think. With Sebastian Pieuch on his first calling, making the top 32, I believe.
Yeah, he was like 21st.
Leo with Lexi being, I think, also 6-2 or 7-1 after the first day, which is a great result. So, yeah, I think Team Poland.
Jabas.
Yeah, and also we've had 2
draft.
people winning other events. First of all, we've had Przemek Staniszewski winning the Commoner on Sunday and bringing home the beautiful lore book from Lille, and one of our main tournament organizer, the person that is responsible for bringing nationals to Poland, Bartosz Chrobak, or Bartłomiej Chrobak, sorry, Polish names are weird sometimes. Jabas, anyways, he won the Arcane Rising first edition draft, which was a lottery. You could have bought tickets for the lottery, and he bought just one. He was pulled from the lottery to play in the draft, and he won that with Azalea, which was a really great result. Yeah, it's an achievement, and I'm really happy. I think that if anyone deserves to play on such event and be a part of that, it's Jabas for sure, for all the work that he does to bring Flesh and Blood in Poland. So yeah, I am really happy that he was able to play that. So So two more events won by Team Poland in that regard. All right, so I will just refresh the Flesh and Blood main site one last time. Still no dynasty info, so maybe we will get that somewhere in the middle of the night. If not, maybe tomorrow. So we will talk about that for sure. As for now, thank you guys for joining me to talk about Lille.
Thank you.
And yeah, see you in the next videos. So remember to like, subscribe, do every crazy stuff YouTube likes to make our algorithms better. All right.
Yep.
See ya.
See you guys. Thank you.
So yeah, thank you.